little black woman from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Came to America, didn't speak a word of English.
Yeah.
Got 2 millionaire white men to join me. And we formed a company that turned out to be a multi-million-dollar company with 800 employees.
This is Dr. Solanges Vivens, the luckiest woman in the world. At least, that's what some would say. A trailblazing business leader and renowned author, luck is just one part of the equation in her story. The other parts are filled with hard work, courage, faith, and a ferocious tenacity to never let any obstacles get in her way. In our 8th episode of The Road to 1000, we travel to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, famous for its stunning beaches and vibrant boat life, to meet Dr. Vivens, who shares her secrets to building her empire, opens up about the love and loss of her husband, and why turtles can be a big source of inspiration.
In order for a turtle to move forward, the turtle must stick its neck out of the shell. I went, OMG. This is what I have been doing all my life.
Dr. Vivens does not believe in failure, but what she does believe in plays a key part in how she has become the luckiest woman alive. The most inspiring part of a turtle's journey is watching them hatch from their shell, leave the nest, and fight their way to the big blue sea. But before that journey begins, it starts with the mother turtle instinctively returning to the place of her birth to lay her eggs. This journey is both life-threatening and uniquely a miracle all within itself. However, sometimes, like in any journey, there's always an unexpected twist. They say to be successful in life, one must have a little bit of luck. However, what happens when that luck comes before you're even born? In 1945, Dr. Vivens' father had a chance encounter with a young woman one night in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, who had a flat tire on the side of the road. Now, this wasn't any road, and she was not any ordinary woman. The daughter of a Haitian senator, she played a pivotal role in changing the life of Dr. Vivens' family forever.
Lucienne was a white Haitian woman, young, beautiful, well-dressed, and she had a flat tire on a deserted road. And several cars passed her by. No one stopped to help her. And my dad was the driver of a truck. And my dad almost missed her. So he made a U-turn, came back, and offered to help her. She was scared of him. So my dad said, get in the car. She got in the car, and my dad went in the trunk, got her spare tire, and changed the tire for her and told her it's okay to leave, it's okay to go. But she insisted, she was that nice. She insisted that she wanted to pay my dad. And my dad said, lady, go home, it's late, go to bed, And she asked my dad, but what is your name? And my dad turned around and says, Ambrose Vivens. But where do you live? She insisted.
Her persistence paid off, and eventually Ambrose told her where he lived. She would ultimately find him the next day, and the rest was history.
Became friends with my family, and it turned out that my mom was pregnant with me, and she never had a godchild. My parents offered her to become my godmother, and she did. And she's the one who came up with the name Solange. She named me Solange.
As luck would have it, Dr. Vivens would become known around her town as being the lucky one, because luck seemed to follow her everywhere she went.
When I was born, my dad believed that there was a star, a bright star in the sky. When I was very young, my dad went to a football game, and the lottery ticket was his ticket. And he said he never won anything before, and this is the first time he's been coming to this since before he was even married, before he had kids. And here he is, the winner.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, it's not me, it's her.
Yeah.
It's not me, it's because of her.
Yeah.
So to a point whereby a family member, and I'll tell you, I wouldn't call her name, but a sister said that I stole the luck of the whole family.
Oh, wow, it all fell on you.
The luck fell on me.
Yeah. But I mean, what a blessing to be able to have that kind of it's like God's special touch on you to be able to do the things.
Actually, I really feel that I was chosen.
Yeah.
And I thank God every day.
Yeah.
for selecting me. My parents have 13 children.
Yeah.
And here I am, the one that was selected.
Yeah.
How lucky are you?
Dr. Vivens was born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, shortly after her father's run-in with Lucien. With Lucien's help, Dr. Vivens' father, Ambrose, would eventually become a chauffeur for Lucien's father, who was a senator in Haiti at the time. He worked hard to leave behind poverty and become a respected businessman, something that inspired Dr. Vivens.
I watched my parents change from zero to middle class. And that was another transformation that I lived through. Watching my dad from being a chauffeur to owning to owning cars, to owning trucks that he can rent to other people. He did not have to go to the driving anymore. So I watched all of that transformation. I left Haiti in 1965. So I left Haiti young. And my parents were strict. We were not able to sleep at a friend's house. They were very strict. But we all are professionals. We all, you know what I mean? Yeah. Whatever they did it well on our behalf.
After a turtle is left in its nest, the mother returns to the sea, leaving her offspring to find their own way to the ocean. They must navigate to the vast waters, learning to survive in this big world without her, something Dr. Vivens would soon learn for herself. During Dr. Vivens' teenage years, Haiti was under a very harsh regime. President Duvalier, known as a dictator to many, created a parliamentary force to police the streets known as Tonton Macoute. They didn't just enforce order, they were known for their violence, intimidations, and many human rights abuse. Not wanting their daughter, the lucky one, to suffer under this regime, her family made the tough decision to send her to America to live with her older sister.
When I came to America in 1965, I was on a 2-month visa. 2 months. My parents put me in an airplane. They said, don't come back. Just imagine.
Yeah.
At a young age, I was 18, 19, coming to a country that I did not know, did not speak the language, and they exiled me, period. I was literally exiled because I have 2 older sisters above me, but I was the one that they sent because my parents were afraid that one of those Duvalier Tonton Macoute was going to kill me.
Yeah.
Because I was cute and I was fresh.
Yeah.
And then they had guns.
Yeah.
And I used to tell my parents, if one of them touch me, and because of that attitude, they talked to my older sister who was already in America, please get her out quick.
Yeah.
I graduated in June, and in July, I was in America.
With so much uncertainty ahead, Dr. Vivens would leave the only home she's known, flying 4 hours to New York. Though America held promise for a new life, Dr. Vivens came to an America that was still dealing with racial tension. Unfortunately for Dr. Vivens, her first welcome to America moment wasn't what she expected.
I was hungry, and my brother went to a restaurant with us, and the Major D told us that there is no way we can stay there. And because we were wearing jeans, my brother-in-law was wearing jeans. But we looked in, after we walked out, when you look at the window, you can see there were white people sitting there with jeans on. Yeah. And 100% of the people that were in the restaurant were white people. Obviously, we came to the conclusion quickly that the reason why we were not accepted at the restaurant is because our skin was black. We were black people. Yeah.
Despite this encounter, Dr. Vivens made her way in America. She would go on to work several different jobs, from working in a clothing factory to working at a hospital. However, the transition from Haiti to America wasn't easy.
I was homesick. When you leave your home at that age, I was young, to leave my home and to come into America, the disappointment that I was faced. I wanted to come because I wanted to be in America. When you're back in Haiti, you can go into America, is that and all. And when you really face the reality, right now, we have people who came in under the Biden who went back to Haiti when they realized that what they thought is really not what they face.
Yeah.
They're faced. So it's the same thing back then for me as well. You see, it was very hard getting used to a new environment. So all I wanted was to go back home.
Yeah.
And I fought it. My sister, I cried all the time. But it was best for me to stay.
Her experience in America would take a turn after becoming a nanny for an affluent family called the Silvermans.
Because I did not have paper in the people's country, I ended up working for a white family as a nanny. Now, they were rich. They had a chauffeur, they had someone who come in to clean, someone who come in to do the laundry, and they had me, the nanny. I learned a lot from them. And I look at where they were and where I come from. The have and the have not. My godmother was the have. My parents were the have not. I came to America, same thing, no different. The Silvermans were the have and I was the have not. And at that home, I worked for them for 3 years until I got my green card. And I promised myself that I am going to be a have in my life.
Dr. Vivens' life was filled with lots of good fortunes. But for every good fortune she faced, some not so good ones came along the way. According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 1 in 5 women in the U.S. experience completed or attempted rape during their lifetime. Nationwide, 81% of women reported experiencing some form of sexual harassment and or assault in their lifetime. In her book, Girls Can Move Mountains, is the first time Dr. Vivens ever spoke out about being raped by her immigration lawyer. The Me Too movement happened to be going on as she was writing her book, inspiring her to finally tell her story after years of staying silent and telling no one. While still living with the Silvermans, Dr. Vivens headed to her lawyer's office to bring him some paperwork for her sister's residency. What happened next is something no one should ever have to experience.
And the secretary asked me to wait in the waiting room until he was ready for me. At 12 o'clock, he came out and he looked just like Buddha. If you know a Buddha, he looked just like Buddha. And he looked at me saying, I can't meet with you right now because I have to go to lunch. Why don't you come? I buy you a sandwich. Come, let's go to lunch. I got up. Now, mind you, I look up to this man. This is the big white man that was helping me. He's the one who found me that beautiful family, right?
Yeah.
So I trusted him. I walked with him. We're walking to a restaurant. He make one turn, he turn. Before I knew it, he opened a door. If you know Manhattan, the buildings are offices and there are places where people live as well. Most of the bottom levels are offices and people live in those apartments. So he opened a door. We walked to the first floor. He opened another door. And before I know it, I was in his apartment instead of a restaurant.
Yeah.
And he said, let's have lunch. He opened his fridge. There were 2 sandwiches and 2 cans of Coke.
Wait.
So he knew what he had planned.
Yeah.
I did not know. So we sat at the table. We had lunch. And then when I thought we were done, he grabbed my hand and pulled me. And before I know it, he was on top of me, raping me. Huge man.
Yeah.
And the whole time he was raping me, he was saying how young I was, how nice it was. All I remember is the sound of the zipper when he was done. And the one thing he told me, he said, if you ever tell anyone about this, I'm going to deport you. Now remember, I didn't have my papers finished. He was helping me to bring my sister. My parents told me not to come back.
Yeah.
My godmother told me not to come back. The Silvermen depend on me.
Yeah.
What was I going to do? I took a zipper and I zipped my mouth. That's all I remember. The pain, the misery the next morning, I had to erase that out of my mind for all those reasons.
Yeah.
I didn't tell the Silverman. If I had told Mr. Silverman, he would go kill him. If I had told my sister,
Yeah.
I was told not to talk.
Yeah.
So I zip up.
Yeah.
And I block it 100%. Like it never happened until the Me Too movement. It just so happened the Me Too movement was alive and well while I was writing the book. I just relived it for the first time.
Yeah.
All of it came back at that moment. And I said, you know what? There is a reason for everything. I am going to put it in the book. That's how I wrote about it in the book.
Yeah.
No other reason.
Trauma is not easy for anyone. So how did Dr. Vivens deal with this?
I noticed in the book you also put, like, after it happened, you had to, like, figure out how to, like, compartmentalize it. So that way you were like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm not going to let it ruin my life. Because there's a lot of situations that can ruin someone's life, but you didn't let that stop you.
Well, what I tell young women when I speak out, because you know I'm a women empowerment, I go out speaking all over the world. What I tell women is bury it.
Yeah.
Find a way to bury it. Why? It happened already. There's nothing I can do about it. I cannot stop it. I cannot make it better. It wasn't my fault. I didn't go there flirting with all my body exposed to him. I didn't do anything. I was innocent. Why allow ALLOW? That's my favorite word. Why allow what he did to hurt me more?
Yeah.
It already hurt me.
Yeah.
Bury it.
Yeah.
Bury it. I tell women, go outside, dig a hole, empty your chest in the hole and cover that damn hole and move on and leave it behind you.
Yeah.
Don't take it with you. You don't build a new house with old bricks.
Yeah.
If you use old bricks, you still have the same old house.
Yeah.
If I had let that affect me, I would not be where I am today.
Yeah.
Don't look back.
Yeah.
Each time you look back, you could have made 2 steps forward. Did it hurt? Yes. Do I recall it? Do I relive it now that I'm talking with you? Yes. Am I going to let it stop me from being who I am? No.
Yeah.
Because the person who hurt you wins
Yeah.
when you do that.
There was so much uncertainty for Dr. Vivens coming to America, but despite all that she had been through, she still found a way to make a life for herself.
So what would you say to your teenage self, knowing the experience you've had now that you've been in America, thinking back on like when you were first coming? What would you tell her?
My teenage self is growing up in a world that is totally different than the world that I grew up.
Yeah.
When I came to America, there was no cell phone, I left home, there was no TV. The self is completely different.
Yeah.
One thing that I will say is that you have advantages right now that I did not have when I came. Right now, I will tell the young Solange, if you come to America today, take advantage of all those things that are around you. Educate yourself. An educated consumer is our best customer.
Yeah.
Just make sure you are educated.
A turtle's life is full of challenges. Right after hatching, its main goal is to reach the sea. But before it can get there, it faces a dangerous journey from its nest. Along the way, it could be eaten, stepped on, or trapped in the sand. For the turtle, this journey is about survival. For Dr. Vivens, it's the difference between achieving success or falling short. Like with anything in her life, Dr. Vivens did not let the obstacles of life stop her from achieving her goals and dreams. She would eventually enter into the world of nursing and become a big mover and shaker in the industry. But along the way, she would have a secret weapon that would help her climb up the ladder of success to becoming the prolific woman she is today. Their story of origin picks up after a long night of dancing in New York, one fateful day in March.
That week, I got a call from Dorette telling me that there is a guy that danced with me and the guy wants my number. You know, there was no cell phone. You had a telephone at the house. That was your line. It used to be called a landline.
Yeah.
So I told Dorette, no, I went to 2 parties. I have no idea which man I danced with. I'm not going to give my number to any man that I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the guy was persistent and kept calling Dorette and calling Dorette, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and Dorette kept calling me. She started getting angry at me. She wanted this guy to stop calling her. Then I give in. I said, okay, fine, give him my number. And this guy now started calling me and never stopped. He called every day until I agreed to go on a date with him, which we did. When we went on that date, that's when I discovered who the guy was. Tall, dark, handsome, from Barbados, with a beautiful British accent, because back then Barbados was a colony of Britain. So he took me to the Playboy Club. And you had to be a member to go to the Playboy Club. And there were the waitresses were like bunnies, with their little black and white outfit. The bar was mahogany. I mean, I was impressed. And he moved a chair for a lady. He was really, really nice. We had a great date, and we started dating from that moment on. And I fell for him. He was really, really a gentleman, full of class. Yeah. And we hit it right. He was 10 years my senior. He taught me how to write a check because I was a new grad, just started making money. I mean, he taught me everything. Yeah. Everything you can think of. I said, if I have a book report to do, he would read the book so that he can correct my book report. It was great. Yeah. He was a gentleman. And we were together for 30 years. Wow. 30 years.
Dr. Vivens and her husband went through many trials, from dealing with a long-distance relationship, an unexpected pregnancy, and Dr. Vivens having to wait 14 years for Keith to finally say yes to marrying her. But through it all, they built the American dream.
So what advice would you give women who are single and thinking about pursuing a husband, who are career-driven women? Because your husband was very supportive of you. So what advice would you give women when it comes to pursuing a husband? What should they look for as far as, especially if they're career-driven type women?
Well, I don't call it, following my husband or my husband following me. When you are married, you become one. And what is important is what is good for the unit. One become two. And suddenly those two are like this. If you are like this, then don't follow. Once the gap keep increasing, don't follow. I would advise, make sure that there is unity, there is understanding, and it doesn't matter if it is the wife that is growing up in the business or if it is the husband, because you guys are one. What's good for one is good for the other. Yeah. So my husband realized that I was going up and up, so he became the wind beneath my wing. Yeah. He was the wind beneath my wing, and he kept pushing me. As he pushed me, we came along together. I never outgrow my husband financially, because if it wasn't for my husband, I would not possess what make me rich. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. It's the combination that's important. What's even greater and more important is to make sure that there's a mutual understanding between the two of you. Yeah. If the husband is jealous of the wife because the wife is doing better, it's not going to work, or vice versa. Don't be jealous of each other. Realize that this is our goal, not my goal, your goal, but our goal. And if it is our goal, then we can move forward together.
Throughout Dr. Vivens' journey, ascending the nursing world ladder into becoming a director, administrator, and owner of her own health management company, she also became the first of many things, such as the first Black director of nursing at the Washington Home. One of her biggest accomplishments was becoming the first African American of Caribbean descent to hold a vice president position in the American Healthcare Association. To become the first of anything takes a certain type of mentality.
Behind every successful woman is herself. Your mom might want you to do something. Your mom or your dad might want you to be somebody. Unless you see yourself as that somebody. Your mom wants you to be a doctor, and you have no doctor in you. You do not want to be a doctor. If you go be a doctor because your mom wants you to be a doctor, you will not be a happy doctor. You will not be a good doctor. Okay? But what is it that you want to do? I want to be a lawyer. That's what I want to do. But my mom wants me to be a doctor. You might never become either because of that one rift between you and your mom. Always remember the self. Who are you? Yeah. Who am I? What is it that I want to do?
Dr. Vivens faced every obstacle that came her way head on, even the ones that came unexpectedly, like her unexpected pregnancy and her husband's untimely death from a rare disease.
And we have one son. He never wanted to have children, did not want to get married, did not want to have children. Well, I did all the things he wanted, and he did the things that I wanted. We finally got married. We had a son together, and then we went to Europe. on a cruise. He arranged the cruise. Never done anything like that before. Until I realized that the time we would be on the cruise would be his 65th birthday. And that's when I said, aha, I know what my boy was up to. He wanted to get out of Washington because he did not want me to have a birthday party for him. He hates birthday parties.
Yeah.
So we went to Europe, had a great time, came back from Europe. His birthday is in August. By December, my boy was very sick, and then he died in May. They couldn't find out what was wrong with him. It was not until after he died. Sibley Hospital had done a biopsy of his lungs, and they sent it to the Mayo Clinic, and they discovered he had a very rare disease. Back then, I don't know how many it is right now, but back then there were about 100 rare diseases that they did not know the etiology nor the prognosis on those diseases back then. So that's how I lost my husband. Why turtles? I told you about my husband. So now let me tell you about turtles. When I met Keith in New York, and he invited me to go to Barbados with him to meet his mom. That was the first time I went to Barbados. Did not know Barbados at all. We went to Barbados, and he took me snorkeling with the turtles. My goodness, the turtles in Barbados are huge, and they are beautiful. So I fell in love with them in the water. That was number one. When we left the sea, there was a little boutique. There was a little store. I went to the store, and there was a little booklet. And I looked at it. There was a turtle on the outside. Needless to say, I just finished with the turtle in the water. My eyes went boom, boom, straight to the little booklet. I opened it, and the center page, there was a turtle with the neck out. On the other side, there was a turtle with the neck in. And the caption is, in order for a turtle to move forward, the turtle must stick its neck out of the shell. I went, OMG, this is what I have been doing all my life, is sticking my neck out for me to move forward.
During our hardest times in life, we face the most opposition, and Dr. Vivens was no exception. Dr. Vivens wasn't a woman who just relied on luck, but she also relied heavily on her faith, something she would need a lot of during some of her darkest moments of her life, like losing her beloved Keith.
When my husband died, I eulogized my husband, something that usually is unheard of. My son was sitting with me at the church, just like we are, and I looked at him, I said, Kev, I am going to talk about Daddy. And he touched me, he said, Ma, you know you can't do it. Please don't go make a fool of yourself. You know you can't do it. Yeah. And as soon as the last person came down from the podium, I got up, and the church froze. There was about 700 people at my husband's funeral. Everyone froze. I got up and I talked about him, what he meant to me, what he did for me, and how I became the woman that I was at that time. 55 years old, only because I met the right person. And after I spoke with the congregation, I turned around and I talked to God. And I said to God, you took my husband, you took Keith because you need him. Don't forget, I am still here. And a year, my husband died May 15th. June 14th, the following year, I met another great man. A year after, I met another great man. And we were together for 13 years.
Wow.
He came to my life when I needed him. I believe that God put people in our lives for a reason. And when the season is over, he said, the season is over. He took my husband via death, and he took Cliff via a disagreement as to how we're going to continue the relationship. He wanted to do something, I wanted to do something different. There was no argument, no nothing. I wanted a different future for me, and he wanted a different future for him. And we amicably broke the relationship. We're still friends.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Good friends.
Yeah.
Dr. Vivens didn't just face loss in her personal life, but also in her business.
Everything that I do, I believe in prayer.
Yeah.
I was managing 2 homes for the government.
Mm.
2 homes, 500 beds. And a new mayor came and decided that the government should not be in the care delivery. And that what they want to do, they wanted to lease the buildings. And my very first building was leased by someone else. The someone else, the only reason they got it, it's because the executive director was trained by me. I taught him everything he ever knew.
Yeah.
Make him go to school to take the exact courses that he needed to pass the exams to become a nursing home administrator. I made him my assistant so that I can train him.
Mm.
He became an employee at one of that nursing home as the administrator.
Mm-hmm.
I did all of that for him. And he stole everything, all the knowledge, all the internal knowledge.
Yeah.
Because he was working for another company and they bid against me. Okay?
Yeah.
Using my information.
Yeah.
Using
crazy.
my information.
Self-sabotage, like inner sabotage.
Exactly. A black man who did that.
Yeah.
So I lost that contract. That was a multi-million-dollar contract.
Because you had it for like 20 years, right?
25
years. Wow.
I lost that contract. I had one nursing home left. And that mayor put it on the block again for lease.
Yeah.
And I bid on it. And he bid on it as well.
Mm.
And I remember going to the shrine of the Immaculate Conception. And I kneel in front of Mother Mary. And I said, I lost one. If I lose this one, this is the end of my business. You know, I talked to her. We had a conversation. And I got the lease. I got a 20-year lease of the building.
Yeah. 20 years, that's amazing.
I turned it around.
Yeah.
Turned it around. We became a 5-star nursing home for 5 years. I did it for 6. And I sold 14 years of the lease for a bundle of millions.
So you were able to turn it around and profit off of it.
I turned it around and then I sold for a bunch of money.
A devout Catholic, Dr. Vivens doesn't shy away about the role her faith has played in her story.
Only because of my faith. I did not do it. I believe. Now, you don't have to believe like I do.
Mm-hmm.
You might say, well, why are you giving all the glory to Mother Mary and not to you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm used. I'm an apostle. I'm used by my faith. I believe that I am on this earth for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that I do, I believe is my assignment. You know, we all are given assignment by God. So that's my faith. And I believe in it, and I'm going to swear by it. And I'm going to stick to it. So, you know, God gave me a beautiful life. I work hard. I cried a lot. I hurt a lot. And it's all because of my faith.
Yeah.
I really believe that God put me here for a reason.
Yeah. I don't know how anybody can make it without faith. Like for me, like I'm not Catholic, but I do believe in Jesus. I do believe that, you know, he died for us, and I believe in the Holy Spirit. And I feel like God's wisdom is how we're able to thrive in this earth. And so if you don't have God, you don't have Jesus, you don't have wisdom. So how are you operating? How are you figuring out how? Like, so all the times when you talk about like overcoming things, dealing with things, having that faith is that extra firepower that allows you to say, okay, I can get up one more time. I can get up one more time. So for me, it's like, I can't do any of this without God. He has to have all the glory because I know it's done for me. And it's just like, I mean, just his death alone, you know, Jesus dying for us, but like, just knowing in my actual testimony what he's done, it's like, yeah, I don't know how anybody does life without it.
Dr. Vivens surrounded herself around the right kinds of people that helped her reach her success.
Throughout your story, you had good lawyers, you had good friends, you had a good husband, your son was a big part of it. Why is it important to keep good people around you?
All right. Why is it important? It's important as important as eating good food. It's healthy. You eat good food because you want to stay healthy. You don't eat dirt because that will kill you. It's important to keep people that you can look up to because there is something you want to grab. If you are having people always that are trying to grab from you, where are you going to grab from? All they're going to do is pull you down.
Yeah.
So it's important to be inspired by the success of others. Look up. Look up. Always look up.
Mm-hmm.
You will get up there one day.
Yeah.
But if you continue to look down, how are you going to get up? Always look up. I tell women, look up. Know the address. Always know the address of where you are going.
Yeah.
Why? Because if you get lost, you can tell someone where you are going, then they can navigate you to get to where you are going.
After enduring countless challenges, the turtle has grown strong, resilient, and wise. It has learned to navigate the vast ocean, adapting to its ever-changing tides. Like the turtle, Dr. Vivens stands today as a testament to perseverance. Her journey has shaped her into who she is now, grounded in faith, empowered by her experiences, and ready to face whatever the future holds.
Who is Dr. Vivens today? You're 78 years old. You live life like you're 18. Like, who are you today?
Well, let me tell you who I am.
Yeah.
I am a seenager.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard this term?
No, I have not.
You don't know a seenager?
No, I've no one.
Well, yours truly is a seenager.
Okay.
Seenager.
I like that.
A seenager is a senior and a teenager at the same time. 60 years ago, there are things that I wanted to do that I could not do. I didn't want to go to school when I was a teenager. I wanted to have fun. I wanted money. But my parents didn't have any money to give to me as a teenager. You know, I hated homework. Why do I have to do homework? There's so many things as a teenager. I wanted to drink, but I didn't have the age to drink, or I didn't have the ID to drink. Now, I am a teenager. I do what I want to. I come in when I want to.
Yeah.
So there's good part being a senior and there's good part being a teenager.
Yeah.
I combine the two and I'm having myself a ball.
Yeah.
That's who I am today.
Yeah. You worked hard to be able to do all of that. So as long as you're happy, that's all that matters.
I have a niece to make jewelry. Her name is Ingrid Mitchell. Ingrid makes jewelry and Ingrid makes all my turtles. Look at this one. She just made me this belt. Just look at this belt. Okay, I gotta put it on so you can see my belt. Wow, look at my turtle. Look at the size of this monster. Okay, this is my turtle belt that Ingrid made for me.
After publishing 3 books, Dr. Vivens isn't looking to slow down anytime soon with a few new projects on the horizon.
I am heading to Venice, Italy, because I met this billionaire German guy, think that I am that and all, and he's looking to see if they can do a movie with my book, with my life story.
Yeah.
I met a woman from Greece, and we are working on a documentary on the life of Saint Solange and my life.
Yeah.
I discovered that there was a saint named Saint Solange who lives in Bourges, France. We have the same name. We have the same birth date. We both like animals. We both like working in the garden. She used to care for the sick. I'm a nurse. So I discovered Solange. As I grew older, I'm discovering Solange more and more. Who would have known that this little girl who left Haiti in 1965, came to America, don't speak a word of English, would today be talking about her life, turning into a movie, big screen movie, documentary. That's a dream.
Yeah.
That's a dream. And all I do every day, I pray God that I see those two things, the documentary comparing my life with Solange's life and the movie about girls can move mountains. If I can see those last two things, then I can die the next day.
At 78, Dr. Vivens is living her best life and having fun while doing it.
One fun fact about me is that I love my family, period. And I do everything I can to support my family. I loved my employees. They trusted me and I had fun with them. I work hard and I played harder when I was working. And now all I do is play. I play day and night. There's a party, call me. If I'm free, I'm game. You know, life is short. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. That's the reason why I tell people, live life like you would like your children, your family, your friend to read about you one day.
And Dr. Vivens lives her life exactly as such. At 78, she's out on the tennis court, traveling the world and sharing her wisdom with anyone who's willing to listen. As the turtles grow old in the ocean, Dr. Vivens seems to get younger by the day. Her story is a testament that if you're willing to work hard, take every good opportunity that comes your way, and have a no excuses attitude, you can achieve your dreams and beyond. With faith on your side and a little bit of luck, one would say the sky is the limit. Or in the case of Dr. Vivens, God is the limit. Wishing Dr. Vivens all the luck in the world, and may one day soon we see her life story on the big screen. This is The Road to 1000 with 992 more to go. Stay tuned for more women's stories, adventures, and discoveries. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that like button if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to leave a comment for Dr. Vivens down below. And until next time, my name is Whitney, and I'm out.
Because he used to say, when are you going to learn to speak English? Because, you know, he was British, from Barbados.
Okay.
So the English was his language.
Yeah.
And he teased me all the time. Even when he was telling me how to call my son. Because we had a pledge that if it's a girl, I name her. If it's a boy, he names the boy. So it turned out to be a boy.
Yeah.
And he told me, get a piece of paper and a pen.
Yeah.
I said, what's the matter? You don't think I can spell it? He said, I don't want you to spell it like you speak.
That's good. That's good. Because, I mean, you know, who knows what that might have came out to. Yeah.
I don't want you to call my son Kelvin.
Yeah.
His name is Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah.
You should hear him because he was talking to me on the phone. He was at home.
Yeah. You made sure you got it right.
That was my husband.
Yeah.